Yes, people, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So Manchester United got a big win yesterday. Scott McTominay with the goal to give Manchester United that result against Aston Villa. And today, I've read an article by Laurie Whitwell in The Athletic, which says Scott McTominay's 7 goals have won us 12 points. I've also been inundated with messages, DMs, tweets, all sorts saying, Mac, you need to apologise to Scott McTominay. You need to apologise to him. And with these stats from Laurie Whitwell, we'll get stuck into his article as well. I'll tell you why maybe I was half right, but I do owe him a little bit of an apology. And we'll get to that in a little bit. But first of all, what a result for Manchester United. Because if we don't beat Aston Villa, even a draw, which isn't a bad result against Aston Villa, who are a very good side. But if we didn't beat Aston Villa, Manchester United, in my opinion, would have no chance of getting Champions League football for next season. And we know how important Champions League football is to Manchester United. So getting that result was vitally important. I thought our first half performance was very good. Our second half performance, not so good. We allowed Villa to grow into the game. But when you have, people pop up and take their opportunity off the bench like Scott McTominay with that fantastic header, we got the result in the end. And I think it was a very well-earned 3 points for Manchester United. And you look at the run we're going on at the minute, it's seemingly like we've picked up a little bit of momentum. We've got Luton, Fulham coming up, Man City in the league as well. That'll be a true test for us. And then obviously in between that, we've got Nottingham Forest in the cup. So, the next few weeks are going to be vitally important for our season. But I thought yesterday could have been a season-defining result if we can back it up. Now, we'll get stuck into this article. Remember, it's in The Athletic, and it's by my good mate, Laurie Whitwell. So even if I disagree with him, I still love Laurie. So I'm not going to go in too hard on him. But yeah, let's have a look at this. He says there's many ways to gauge a player's importance to a team, lots of them immeasurable: spirit, courage, energy. Scott McTominay's value to Manchester United has, for much of his career, been calculated using these kinds of unquantifiable terms. And I'd argue as well, spirit, courage, look, energy is a midfielder I've criticised a lot for not being a very good midfielder, not being great in the press, not being great in the tackle, not doing enough with that physicality, and often hiding behind opposition. That's what I've criticised him for. I also feel like when we play him, we lose a lot of control in that midfield area. So to see him coming on as kind of like a box crasher, I think that could be the best position for him. But let's get stuck in anyway to this. It says, then comes down to this campaign where his influence on Ten Hag's team can be boiled down to a quite remarkable empirical level. By scoring in the 86th minute of Aston Villa, McTominay turned a draw into a victory, continuing a run where every one of his 7 Premier League goals this season has meant something to Manchester United. Those contributions have equated to an extra 12 points for Ten Hag's side, the most by any player in the division. And without them, United would be 12th in the Premier League. Now, the list also includes the likes of Son Heung-min, who scored 12 goals, earned 10 points. Dominic Solanke, 13 goals, 9 points. And Erling Haaland, 16 goals and 8 points. Now, I dislike those kind of stats a little bit. Like, those contributions have equated to an extra 12 points. And without him, we'd be in 12th. I find that not true, really, because we wouldn't be playing with 10 men. Do you know what I mean? And if we had got rid of Scott McTominay in the summer, brought in the funds, maybe we bring in a better midfielder and someone that brings more control. You're also avoiding, and you're not discussing, the times where playing him from the start in midfield has resulted in a lack of control for Manchester United in midfield and therefore cost us points. So you're not taking away those points as well, which I think you need to. But what we've seen with Scott McTominay is, maybe I was wrong in terms of saying, get rid of him completely. I just didn't want to see him in midfield. And if we're going to continue to see him there in midfield, playing every week in, week out, then maybe that's not the one. But is he Erik ten Hag's secret second striker? Anthony Martial's out and leaving in the summer. And we've seen this guy come through like the reincarnation of Duncan Ferguson. That goal against Villa, fantastic. We've seen against Brentford, crashing the box. And that's the thing. If we're going to find a place for him where he's coming off the bench and he's playing up top somewhere, trying to get us a goal in the last 5-10 minutes, fair enough. But there's been times where we bring him on for Casemiro, we bring him on for Maino, and we put him in the midfield area, and we immediately lose control. And in that sense, I don't need to apologise for that, because I still stand by that. Scott McTominay isn't a very good midfielder in terms of a team that wants to be in possession and also wants to win possession back quickly. But we could have found his spot, being the guy to come off the bench, to chuck into the box when we need a goal. And he's also a player that came through the academy, all those kind of things. So he obviously loves the club and all that. And you do need, you know, a few of those in your team. As we know, we've seen Manchester United's record, it stretches back so far of having an academy player in the squad. Now, I still wouldn't mind, you know, this will boost his value. Maybe you could sell him in the summer for 40, 50 million. I don't know. But if we're going to use him like that, an auxiliary striker, fair enough. If we're going to play him in the midfield, not quite for me. So I do feel like this is a little bit misleading in terms of he's won us an extra 12 points. Well, has he? Because also there's been times where he's lost us points by not being a very good midfielder. Having said that, I do owe him an apology in the sense that I wanted him shot. I wanted him to get rid of him. And if we didn't have him in the squad, in the team, maybe, you know, we wouldn't have those goals off the bench, because we haven't been able to rely upon Anthony Martial being fit and firing. We haven't been able to do that for an awfully long time, unfortunately. And we needed someone to step up. But my problem comes when he's playing in midfield every single week. I don't think he's that good in midfield. So I do still think we need to bring in a few. I did a video the other day, 10 players that could leave. We still need midfielders. You know, there's talk about Casemiro potentially leaving, Eriksen potentially leaving. Those guys were to leave and we didn't replace all of them. And we see Scott McTominay playing in midfield on a regular basis. I'd be worried. I'd be very, very worried about that. So I think the stats are a bit misleading, but also you have to give credit where credit is due. And the 7 goals from him this season have been massively important. Massively important. And he also seemed like a good lad to have around the squad. But it's a half apology, I think, innit? Is that what I'm doing right now? It's kind of like a half apology, innit? Alright, maybe I didn't mean everything. Maybe I was wrong in terms of getting rid of you. But I feel like I'm right in terms of you being in midfield and us losing control on a regular basis. I think that happens. And I don't want to see Scott McTominay starting. And that's kind of... Remember after the Brentford game, he scored those 2 goals. He scored the 2 goals, yeah. We stick him in midfield every single game. It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to do that, because you're then like... You're kind of losing the option to have him coming off the bench and scoring goals for you. You're losing that option. But also, you're losing control in midfield. So keep him on the bench. Keep him as a super sub. Keep him as someone to bring on when we need a goal. But please, don't start in midfield. So yeah, half an apology from me. Check out that full article from Laurie Whitwell. I think it's a very good article and it's interesting as well to get like the debate and the topic going. But let us know what you think. Should I be giving a full apology to Scott McTominay? Should I not be apologising at all? Am I right in terms of him in midfield compared to him crashing the box and getting forward? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure you're keeping it locked. I'm not sure if you've noticed, we've had a little bit more content being pumped out on the channel at the moment. So go and check out all my recent videos as well. We had a review from the Mauritius Supporters Club with those guys yesterday as well, up after the game. That was incredible. So go check that out. Go check out the last few videos we've uploaded and let us know your thoughts on Scotty to Hotty. Anyway, I've been AdamMcKola. I'm out of here.